Hello, y'all. Welcome to Durrett's Take. Today's going to be a special episode. It's a fantasy episode, draft episode, because I'm going to be going over my fantasy football roster because I'm pretty confident that my roster is pretty good. Now, I will admit that there's other good teams within my league. Like, for example, there's a team that has three of the top 10 running backs, three top 10 wide receivers type of thing, but I feel like my roster is pretty good overall. Um, and who knows, maybe the season gets interrupted and maybe fantasy football won't really matter if the season can't happen type of thing, but hopefully the season does happen. And I had to wait to do the fantasy football league just to make sure that all the players who wanted to opt out did it before the deadline last week. So here we go. So um, the number one player that they advised you to take on the fantasy draft was Christian McCaffrey, and I thought about that. I was like, well, Christian McCaffrey's good. He's going to get you a lot of fantasy points. He has a better quarterback now, helping him out in Teddy Bridgewater. Um, but I thought the Panthers still might not. I mean, they'll be decent. Like I feel like they can go at least 500, but it's like I don't feel they're going to be more than that. And again, they're just in a very tough division with the Falcons and the Saints and the Bucks having good defenses there. So I don't know. I decided to not go with him. I decided to go with who I felt like is the best player in the NFL, and that's quarterback Patrick Mahomes. As you all know, I think he's the best quarterback and best player. But I feel pretty good about it because usually, I mean, the interesting thing is because usually in fantasy, like, QBs usually aren't taken in the first rounds. But I was just like, but since I had the first pick, it was up to me, and I decided to just go with the quarterback and go with Patrick Mahomes. And as long as he doesn't get injured, he'll give you a lot of points. And then for my second pick, I decided to go with a tight end. And again, this is kind of interesting because tight ends usually don't go to like the third, maybe fourth round most likely. But I decided I wanted to get a top 2 level tight end, and I got my tight end and Travis Kelce, who's the best in my opinion, although George Kittle is really good. So now you got Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Now, I could easily try to draft like Tyreek Hill, stuff like that, but the problem is you don't want to have a lot of players on the same bye week. So therefore, you don't want to have a lot of players on the same team. So my philosophy is you don't have more than 2 players that have the same bye week. That's my philosophy. Um, so for my third pick, I was like, okay, I need a running back or a wide receiver at this point. I just need one. So there were a couple options I considered, but I went ahead and picked a wide receiver, and I went ahead and picked Adam Thielen. Now, in my opinion, he's a top 10 wide receiver. And also, without Stephon Diggs, he's going to get a lot more touches and therefore a lot more points on fantasy. So I feel like this was a sneaky get here. For my fourth pick, I decided to get, my fourth and fifth picks, like, because my 2 picks are back to back since I was the first. But I decided to get 2 running backs. Now, the first running back I got was Le'Veon Bell. We all know like what's been going on with Le'Veon Bell this summer and his displeasure for Jamal Adams, questing and trade and stuff like that. And also, he just had a horrible year last year under his standards, and he's trying to prove something. And I feel like, well, now this is the first time where the chip is actually on his shoulder, and that he actually needs to prove something. I feel like he's going to deliver and perform better than he usually will. And that also helps with the Jets' offensive line. It should be a little bit better than they were last year. And the fact that a lot of Jets wide receivers opted out this season, so they're probably not going to be throwing the ball as much. And even if they do, Le'Veon Bell would be the top target, in my opinion, to throw the ball too. So I feel like he's just going to rack up a lot of points there. And then for my second running back, now I don't usually get rookies as starters. It's hard for me to trust rookies as starters. But I went ahead and got Jonathan Taylor, the Colts running back. Who was picked in the second round. I got him as my second running back because he was such a good running back in college, being a bunch of good teams, stayed very consistent. And I just feel like he's going to transition well to the NFL. I feel like he's going to be the Josh Jacobs of last year from Oakland, where he was a late first round and Jonathan Taylor's beginning second round type of pick, and you don't think much of him, and then he ends up being in the rookie of the year consideration type of thing. So I feel like it's going to have that type of year. And then after that, I decided to get my defense. Did I get my defense? Actually, no, I went offense and then defense. So I got my other wide receiver to complete that two wide receiver group. And I decided to take a risk here, and I picked Odell Beckham Jr. Now, I will admit I am looking to trade him, but that's only for a few better receivers like Julio Jones, Hopkins, and Thomas are obviously better than him. But if I can't get one, then I'm satisfied with this pick here. But if Baker Mayfield can develop a better connection with him and just perform better in general, I feel Beckham should improve from last year. I mean, it definitely can't get much worse after last year. Also, now that he's healthy, and maybe that makes a difference with the new and better coach. I mean, maybe I know he has to split with Jarvis Landry and Austin Hooper and Joku and stuff like that. So, but still, I feel like he can get some touches. And I still feel like he's top 10 wide receivers. So I feel like I got a pretty good pick here, as far as 6th round goes. And then for a 7th round pick, I got I decided to get defense a little bit earlier than everyone else, and there was a couple of good defenses I considered. The number 1 ranked defense on the board was Pittsburgh. Next was the Bills. 3rd was 49ers. 4th was Ravens. And I forgot. I think the top 5. I think the 5th one was. I forgot who it was, but the 5th one didn't matter for me. So basically, between those top 4, so you have to you kind of have to think of everything when you're considering the defense. So for the Bills, for example, good defense. And they're in a division where they're gonna be able to wreak havoc because you have Young, Tua, or even Fitzpatrick, depending on who's starting the game. You have Darnold, who they can easily control, and then you have Cam Newton not in his prime anymore, or Justin, or something like that. So you have it. So the defense should be really good for the Bills. So I definitely considered them, but I feel like they're still a little bit. Too, and I feel like against the really good teams, I feel like they would go against the Chiefs or something. I feel like their defense wouldn't hold up. I feel like they have to play an average offense, an average quarter, or below average in order to show that they're a really good defense. So I decided to skip on them. And then I thought of the number 1 ranked defense, Pittsburgh. I was like, well, Big Ben has. I'm not sure if he's going to come back. He says he is, but it's like if there's an injury problem, then the offense will perform. That puts more pressure on the defense, and then it just becomes hard for them. That's what. I mean, and also, even if Big Ben is healthy and comes back, I mean, Pittsburgh, as we showed last year, they just don't really have a lot of weapons on offense anymore that they used to. So, I feel like that's going to put a lot of pressure on defense. And Pittsburgh ain't going to be able to score much, and they're going to have to win in a defensive matchup. So, that's why I passed on them. Since between the 49ers and Ravens, well, and because both of them, it's like you can coin flip. Both of them are really good defenses. The one thing, though, is the 49ers, okay, they have to face Russell Wilson. They have to face Jared Goff, and then they have to face Kyler Murray. And Ravens. Because while Ravens, you have to face Big Ben, even if he is and Baker Mayfield. The Browns' offense is no joke, and Bengals, which is underrated. It's like those two offenses are going to compare to the NFC West offense. So I was like, okay, Ravens it is. So then for my 8th pick, this is the flex position. I went with another wide receiver, because there's better wide receivers and running backs at this point. For my next wide receiver, I got Odell's teammate, Jarvis Landry. I couldn't believe he was there at that point. I thought he would have been taken already. So it's just even though I already had Odell Beckham Jr., it's just like it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. So so even though I don't have Mayfield on my team, I'm trusting that he'll get the ball to these guys and give them the points. And then for my 9th pick, last pick for a star, I got the best kicker in the league, Justin Tucker. From the Ravens. I feel like no one can dispute that, so I'm pretty happy there. So now, let's go to the bench. So now when you're drafting your bench players, you obviously only use them during the bye week or if injury occurs. So I would like to see who they played during my starter's bye week and go from there. So my backup QB is Jared Goff. Now during the 1 week he would start, he plays the Seahawks. And he's had his way with the Seahawks in recent years. And Seattle's defense is average at best. Now, if he doesn't throw towards Wagner, if he doesn't throw towards especially Jamal Adams, then he should be just fine. And I feel like he'll get some points. Because, I mean, last year, they lost at Seattle because of a missed field goal, and then they destroyed Seattle at home. So it's like, they're pretty, he does pretty well against them. Okay, and then I have two backup running backs instead of just one. The first is Tevin Coleman. Now, he doesn't get as many points as he could because the 49ers use multiple running backs. But I actually had him last year, and he did pretty good. And with at least one of the 3 running backs gone from last year, so now it's just 2 running backs, I feel like he's going to get more points. Now, I did include him in the trade with Odell if I'm able to get like my top 5 wide receiver type of thing. But if not, then I'm proud to accept him. Now, he does have the same bye week as Le'Veon Bell, so I would only be able to use him when Jonathan Taylor, the close running back, will have his bye week. But I feel like it's worth it. I feel like he'll get some points. Now the Rams play. I mean, the 49ers play the Rams during Tevin Coleman's week that he would start, and the Rams are no joke with Aaron Donald. But I feel like if you can avoid Aaron Donald and just like be able to run on the edge of stuff or even catch passes and stuff, because Rams defense in general is just kind of average. It's Aaron Donald that makes the defense. Avoid him, I feel like he can get his yards. The other running back I got is Kerryon Johnson from Detroit. I don't know his game at all. He was one of the highest running backs on the board at times, so I just grabbed him because, like I said earlier, Bell and Coleman had the same bye week. So I still need this guy for week 11, basically. And during Bell's bye week, this guy, Kerryon Johnson, Detroit, they play Carolina. Now, while Carolina will be much improved, they're not going to be that much improved on defense, in my opinion. I feel like it's going to take them a few years to get the right beats on defense, especially the Kuechly gone and stuff like that. So I feel like he should be able to get his yards against Carolina. Okay, so now for my backup wide receiver, I only picked one receiver, and I couldn't believe he was on the board, but I got Michael Gallup from the Cowboys. I was so surprised he wasn't picked up with my 14th pick. So 14th round pick, I couldn't believe that I was able to get out. I'm ecstatic about it. Now, even though Dak has plenty to share both with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, I feel like Gallup would definitely get his touches because I feel like all 3 of them can get 1,000 yards. Now, I don't feel like Gallup's the number 1 wide receiver, which is why he's on my bench, but I feel like Gallup is kind of like Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, he may not be the best as the number 1 option, but as a number 2 option, he's superb. He's excellent. And so I feel like the Cowboys will definitely use him. And the 2 weeks that I would play him, Week 7 and Week 12, guess who the Cowboys play both of those weeks? The Washington football team. So yeah, he's going to get my points. Okay, now for my backup tight end is actually a QB in Taysom Hill. Then during that week, Kelsey has off. The Saints play the 49ers, which would be tough. But Hill played fine against them last year. And Sean Payton's going to use Hill more and more often. I feel like he can make plays against any defense and anyone. So I feel like he should get points just fine. My backup kicker is the Eagles kicker, Elliott, and I feel like he's a top 5 kicker in the league. So when Justin Tucker has his bye week, I feel like he'll give me my points just fine. Now, they play the Cowboys, so hopefully they're just scoring field goals and not touchdowns with the extra points type of thing. So, because field goal kicks are worth more in fantasy. But B, that means if they're kicking field goals to get scoring touchdowns, that means my Cowboys can win. Okay. And then finally for my backup defense, I originally got the Bears defense, but then I saw they were going to play, which I thought was a steal, but then I saw they were going to play the Saints, so I'm like, So I dropped them, and I got the Chiefs defense set, because guess who the Chiefs played during the Ravens bye week? The Jets. They can make Sam Darnold ownership, but they're a pretty good defense. And then there you have it. So I have the best QB in the league, the best kicker in the league, a top 2 tight end in the league, a top 3 defense in the league, 3 of the top 15 wide receivers, in my opinion, an underrated running back group, and a bench who should perform well when their number is called. Again, with COVID, everything, and just everything's up in the air, so I'm not saying I'm going to win the championship, but I like my chances this year in my league of winning, or at least doing pretty good, because last year for me it was horrible, so I feel like this year will be pretty good for me. I'm pretty glad about my team. So there you have it. That's my fantasy special for today. I'm definitely going to make another episode this week as we find out more college football news that's coming out, whether which conference is going to postpone, which are not, what's going to happen with college football in general. And then also as the NBA regular season starts to wrap up and I give you, like I promised, my NBA predictions, so I'll definitely make another episode this week at some point. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to my channel. Please tell everyone about me. Thank you very much, and you all have a wonderful day.